Welcome back, marketers. Are marketing and advertising the same thing? Short answer, no, but honestly, there is a lot of overlap. And so in today's video, we're going to talk about what is marketing, what is advertising, where do they overlap, and most importantly, what do you need at this point in your business to help you hit your growth goals? I'm Amy Walker, small business strategist, and I help clients be able to create consistent, predictable, and scalable sales through their organic marketing and also their sales systems and team. And this is a great conversation that we're having today.
What?
Advertising costs are going up, and so a lot of people are trying to find new ways to market and get leads into their business without paying some of the high ticket expenses of having a marketing agency or an advertising agency and also the actual ad spend dollars. So this is going to be a great conversation today to help you get clarity on all of the options that you have available to help you be able to get clients at a price that your business can sustain.
We love you already.
If you do this and you keep it, it is going to save you thousands and thousands and maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars in wasted ad dollars.
That's very cool.
So stick with me until the end. So what is advertising versus marketing? There's a lot of overlap, but when I think of advertising, I think of paid ads either on Google pay-per-click or on Facebook, Instagram, all of the platforms where you're paying for ads. YouTube has a great ads platform as well. It can also be traditional advertising, which would be print, radio, and TV. So the advertising side of things is more that getting out in front of your ideal audience. A lot of times it's visibility and it's paying for the views and the traction. When we look at marketing, this is about acquiring a lead. So while advertising is a part of the overall marketing process, advertising in itself does not create consistent, predictable, scalable sales. Let me make sure you got that. Advertising is a part of the overall marketing process, but if you're only doing things that are bringing in visibility, it's not going to generate necessarily the leads and the closes and the predictable, consistent sales that you might be looking for. So what is marketing? Marketing is the comprehensive process. Everything from who's your ideal client, making sure you really understand them, their demographics, their psychographics, where they hang out and congregate, who's already got them on their list. It's dialing in your messaging to make sure that you're sharing the right messages to attract that client. It's your visual brand representation. It's your visibility strategy, which is where advertising comes into play. It's your lead capture and collection strategy. It's your lead nurture strategy. And it's everything that goes from before someone even sees you to when they see you, how they engage with you, right up until they hit the sales process. So marketing is bigger. Advertising is a piece within the marketing puzzle. Why is this so important to know? Because too many small businesses out there pay for advertising and don't understand why it's not creating the sales that they need.
You know, you make a good point.
It wasn't necessarily designed to. Advertising was always meant to be used within a larger marketing campaign. But as a small business owner, you have a limited marketing budget. So if you spend all of your money in one place, you don't have enough money to get everything done. I think we all learned that lesson when we were teenagers shopping at the mall for school clothes. You couldn't spend everything in one place, right? Same principle applies in your marketing. So let's dig into this conversation around marketing a little bit more so you can understand what you need to have in place. It takes 5 things to make a marketing campaign work. The first is your marketing assets. This is all of the stuff you need to produce. This is the branded graphics, the signage, the landing pages, the marketing copy, the Facebook posts, the videos, the ad copy, everything you need to launch the campaign. Those are all of your marketing assets. The second is visibility. So this is where people are going to see it. Advertising is really good at those 2, but it doesn't do the next 3. So the third function we need for any marketing campaign is lead capture. We need a way to be able to get the names, the emails, and the phone numbers. Now I know that there's a lot of digital marketers out there that tell you not to ask for the phone number because it increases your cost per lead. I primarily work with my clients on organic and low-cost lead generation strategies. So we're not focused on trying to capture and collect thousands and thousands of leads. We're trying to get you the right leads in a way that you can actually follow up with them and close the deal. So we want names, emails, and phone numbers. The next thing that we're going to be looking for is, once we get them, how are we going to nurture those leads, build relationships, build trust, build a sense of community? And then the final thing that we're going to do is we're going to transfer them into our sales system and actually follow up and close those leads. So to review, out of the 5 things it takes to get a marketing campaign to work, advertising covers the first 2. It's creating your promotional materials, your marketing assets, and getting visibility on them. But that alone doesn't mean that you get sales. I could stand out in front of a busy intersection today dancing with a sign, and I would have marketing assets and I would have visibility, but it does not mean that I turn that into clients.
That's a flat.
That's
wow.
If this is helpful, I would love for you to like the video so that more people can see it. And then also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so you can get notified every time we release new content. So as a small business owner, where do you spend your time and where do you spend your dollars? I recommend that you focus primarily on lead generation opportunities. If you can get leads, then you're going to be able to convert the leads. So I don't recommend things like billboards, putting your sign on a traveling bus. I don't recommend a lot of like paid PR spots, because those things are really great for visibility, but they're not great for lead generation. And if you'll focus on the activities that give you good lead generation, you're going to be a lot more successful and you'll drive your cost of getting a new client down. So how do we do this? Where do we focus in on? I have a strategy that I work with all of my clients on that is, there's an acronym for it. It's PPPEC. This is our unique formula and how we figure out the right blend for you to be able to create your marketing plan. So the first P represents profitable partnerships. So who are the referral partners? The people that one person could send you a whole lot of business. Let's put together a strategy and a marketing campaign to find more of them. The second P is prospecting. This is how you're going to go out and find people who could use your services. You're going to do those cold reach outs to warm them up and build a relationship, and then see if there's an opportunity for them to become a client of yours. We're not just going to go into the DMs and do a cold reach out and be like, hey, you want to buy my stuff? We're going to use it as a relationship building tool. The third P is building your platform. So this is figuring out what platforms you should be on, what type of content you should be creating, how frequently you need to release it. I have some clients who I'm like, you don't actually need to spend a lot of time and money on social media because that's not where your clients are. But if we created like really specific articles and got them put in really specific places that your ideal client is sure to read, then that could be platform building as well. But we need to figure out how to build your brand as an expert and get your information out where it can be seen by the right people. It is so essential that you actually create interaction and engagement with your audience. We've gotten, especially during the pandemic, pretty disconnected, and people are thriving and searching for connection now. So events allow you to be able to have that interaction, that client connection and interface.
Great idea.
And then the C of the formula is community. How can you plug in with either existing communities or build your own where it's attracting people in that are your ideal clients, but it's not attracting them in to like buy a certain product or service. It's attracting them in around being able to problem solve together, being able to network together, being able to share resources. Companies that are built around a strong community have higher loyalty, they have higher referrals, they have higher retention. And all of those things are going to drive the cost of your marketing down. Now I want to share with you my money wasters, the things that I recommend that you avoid because I just don't think they're going to give you the payoff that you need probably at this point in your business. When you're a bigger company, these things definitely work, but they're hard to maintain for small businesses. So let's jump into it. And then at the end, I'm going to give you the promise that if you will make this promise and keep it to yourself in your business, you're going to save thousands of dollars. The first thing that I don't recommend is sponsoring local teams, clubs, bands, events, just to have them display your logo. It's not likely to generate a lot of sales, but what you could do instead is you could say, I would love to sponsor. Can we come and set up a booth at your event? So now you're plugging that in from sponsorship and you're taking it into the event space where you can have that community engagement, that interaction. You can lead generate, and then you can follow up and close more deals. Next thing that I don't recommend is signage. Like billboards, signs on buses, putting your face on the marquee. That type of stuff really just gives you brand recognition. What I would recommend instead is that you, again, because all of those are local, find local events that you can plug in with and be a sponsor, be a vendor, be a speaker. Another thing I don't recommend is social media content that isn't original content. This is a lot of sharing of quotes, a lot of sharing of stock images, a lot of sharing of other people's articles. All of those types of things are going to kind of flop in the algorithms. What you should be focusing on instead is original content, original ideas that are specifically cultivated for your ideal audience. I really think for a lot of businesses that quality is better than quantity. Now, there's exceptions to every rule, but in general, if you can get the right message put in front of the right people, that's where you're going to create a win. And just filling your newsfeed with repopulated, repurposed stuff isn't necessarily going to produce any results, but it will waste you a lot of time. Next thing I don't recommend is paying to be listed on sites that don't pay for traffic to the site. So if somebody says, hey, we'd love to list you on our site and it's going to cost you this amount per year, and they don't have a lot of traffic and they're not actually paying to drive traffic, don't do that. Instead, find a referral partner who can send business your way and have a deeper relationship with you where they're getting paid on the back end when the person actually signs up for your services. All right, the next one is parades. There's just really no way to collect leads at a parade. So instead of doing parades, look again for those local craft fairs or local shows or expos or trade shows where you can actually generate leads and close deals. All right, here's the promise. Repeat after me.
Zero sales. Killing me.
I solemnly pledge never to run paid ads until after I have proven the sales process. If you don't know that you can sell your product or your service, and you don't know your conversion ratios, like if I have 5 sales conversations, I close 1 deal, then why would you pay for ads? You're gonna spend a lot of money on your ads because ads are not cheap, my friends. And if you don't know that you can convert, then you're bringing all these people through, but it doesn't necessarily translate into more sales. So it translates into more money out, but not necessarily more money in. Instead, just make the promise. I'm going to prove the sales process, and then I'm going to use ads to scale something that's already working. That's the best way to go. So if you want to dig a little bit deeper, I have created a really cool masterclass. It's called How to Fix the 5 Biggest Problems in Your Marketing. It's only 15 minutes long. You can watch it right after this video, and it's going to walk you through the process of figuring out exactly how many leads you need to hit your business goals every single month. And it's got some really cool tools in there for you. So go check it out.